Coming up in this totally boss episode of 1914 Excelsior, I say the words, my wiggler.
My wiggler. Alrighty, so I've disassembled all the components that are part of that bottom bracket assembly here, and I have laid them out in an exploded diagram view format so we can walk through this. I'm going to walk you through this whole assembly, and if this gets too technical, I apologize. So let's just have at it. So anyway, this holds that onto this. This holds that inside there. This is activated by this, which turns this. Okay, so there you have it in the simplest form. And now that I have it all apart here, I'm going to walk you through some of the things that I know need to be fixed right off the bat. And we'll discuss those in a little more detail. This half of the pedal crank assembly, first things first, I want to make sure that this repair has left this shaft to run, mostly straight and true. That is important. The next thing is these two bushings, which I initially thought would be ball bearing type bearings. These are extremely worn. So this is where most of that free play was occurring that I showed you in episode 1. So these both have to be remade to the correct size, not only OD and ID, but also the width. So we'll take care of that. And then I also saw that the threads for the pedal at one point must have stripped out and someone welded it, and that weld has almost failed. So as any of us know who used to jump ramp, if this were to let loose, a bad day is going to happen because the top bar of your bicycle frame is going to make a blunt contact with your man plums. And boy, that'll ruin your ramp jumping session in no time flat. So we're going to take care of this as well. Okay, so I realized that while I was going through the scenario of this pedal coming off, my scenario was maybe a little bit gender biased. But that's only because back then there were no girls in our neighborhood that were jumping ramp. Oh no. But I would assume that there probably were ladies that were jumping ramp, and if the pedal came off, it would make for a bad day. And, the top bar of your bicycle would make blunt contact with your vajayjay. So I just hopefully that equals things out. Okay. Okay, that leaves us with this. This is supposed to be a 2-speed gearbox. It is not a 2-speed gearbox. This is what is called a countershaft chain drive clutch. It is made by Eclipse Manufacturing Company, and so I guess this does identify as a 2-speed gearbox because the 1914 is supposed to have a 2-speed gearbox. But again, it is not. So I guess you could say that this is transmission? What? Oh, can a guy just do his nails? Ooh, that doesn't look good. I mean, seriously, what? So I believe that in 1912-13 single Excelsiors, this type of countershaft chain drive clutch was used. They were single speed. The clutch was activated off the left handle grip, and in ours, the left handle grip activates the timing advance. So somewhere down the line, this got changed back to this particular style drive mechanism. Again, the 1914 should have a 2-speed gearbox in it. So little bit of a problem there. You just don't go to the store and buy these things. So what we're going to do for now is we're going to rebuild this. It does need some work, and I'll walk you through that. We are going to rebuild this, get it back on the bike, and in the future here, we're going to put our eyes out for a 2-speed Eclipse gearbox. And once we find one of those, then we'll bring the Excelsior back in. We'll get it back into original condition with a 2-speed gearbox, and most likely sell this off. So that's the plan at this point. Let me talk you through some of the things that need to be repaired. If you remember, this is the nut that was quite loose on the quill of this whole setup. And that's, if you go back to episode 1, I do show you this. So go back and take a look at that. The bearings are very grindy. So we're going to take this whole thing apart and see if we can replace those ball bearings and repack things and take care of that. Also, to get this apart, the pin holes for our pin spanner wrenches, they're just knackered. So before I can actually take this apart, we're going to drill these out just slightly oversized, make these square again so our pin spanner wrenches can grab that fully, and then we can take this apart. So that's coming up next. So let's get at it. All right, to service our Eclipse clutch, we need to get this apart. And to do so, first off, I need to repair the holes that are in the inner and outer plates of this clutch to get it apart. These holes are for a pin spanner wrench, similar to this. These holes are so knackered and rounded off that none of my pin spanners, they just pull right out because the holes are so rounded off. I'm going to use the wiggler in my mill to indicate the best I can on each of the holes. There are 4 in the outer ring and 2 on the inner. Once I get centered on each of those holes, I'll create a datum point on my DRO, and then we'll come back with an end mill that's slightly oversized and drill out those holes to a depth of 150 thou. Then they'll be square again, and our pin spanners can grip on them, and we can get this thing apart. Now, we all know why these holes are knackered. Somebody along the way has done this business. I mean, we all know about this business. We don't like to admit it, but we all know about this. I personally have never done that. That's just ridiculous. This is the wrong tools for this job, and I would never do anything like that. Okay, I've done that. I've totally done it. We all have. So just get over it, people. We've all done it.
Oh, let's get jiggy with it, because it's time for a machining montage! Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of 1914 Excelsior, but, and I hate to be braggadocious, the next episode is going to be one heck of a thingamajiggy. We're going to take apart that Eclipse countershaft chain drive clutch. We'll see what's going on inside there, and we might just do a machining montage or two. So get ready, get excited, charge your smartphones, because it is going to be epic. And I'd also like to thank you for following along to this point and look forward to seeing you next time on 1914 Excelsior.